डॉक्टर वंदना शिवा मैम, जिनके साथ हमारे वर्दी डायरेक्टर एजुकेशन हैं, ऑडिटोरियम की तरफ आ रहे हैं। ज़ोरदार तालियों के साथ आपको उनका स्वागत करना है, अभिनंदन करना है। इस क्षण का इंतज़ार आप सभी को बहुत देर से था और पिछले कई दिनों से हम लोग लगातार इस कार्यक्रम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं। बहुत सारे बच्चे, बहुत सारे टीचर्स कल भी यहाँ पर आए थे और इस प्रोग्राम को सफल बनाने के लिए उन्होंने लगातार मेहनत की है।
The students are giving guard of honor to our dignitaries, and the idea of band has been introduced in a lot of schools in Delhi government especially, and every school is now going to have a band of its own, a group of students.
इंतज़ार की घड़ियां ख़त्म हुई। हमारे बीच वर्दी डायरेक्टर एजुकेशन हिमांशु गुप्ता सर और आज के कार्यक्रम की शोभा डॉक्टर वंदना शिवा मैम आ चुकी हैं। साथ में शैलेंद्र सर हैं। ज़ोरदार तालियों के साथ इस क्षण के साक्षी बने और अभिनंदन करें आज के इस कार्यक्रम में हमारे सभी अतिथियों की।
A lamp does not speak. It introduces itself through its light. Shubham karoti kalyanam. Arogyam dhan sampada. Shatru buddhi vinashaya. Deepar jyoti namostute. Salutation to the light of the lamp. Auspiciousness, health and prosperity.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः।
The event is graced by our worthy Director Education, Shri Himanshu Gupta sir, our Chief Guest of the day, Dr. Vandana Shiva ma'am, Additional Director of Science, Zareen Taj ma'am, Principal Advisor to Director Education, Shailendra Sharma sir, DD Science Branch, Sudhakar Gaikwad sir, DD Exam Branch, Sanjay Subhash sir. Let us give a huge round of applause to our dignitaries. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to be here with us. You all may now take your seats.
सभी अपना स्थान ग्रहण कर लें और अब मैं अपने नन्हे मुन्ने बच्चों से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो आज के कार्यक्रम की शोभा डॉक्टर वंदना शिवा मैम को प्लांटर देकर उनका स्वागत करें।
और आप सभी जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करें मैम का। हम सभी के लिए एक बहुत ही हम सभी सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि हमारे साथ मैम आज यहाँ हैं। स्वागत आदरणीय डायरेक्टर एजुकेशन हिमांशु सर का मार्गदर्शन हमें हमेशा मिलता रहता है। हम स्वागत करना चाहेंगे श्री इंदु प्रकाश सर का भी। बच्चों तालियां जोर से। सर हमारे साथ कल भी जुड़े थे, कल भी यहाँ मौजूद थे। थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर गाइडिंग अस, फॉर मोटिवेटिंग अस। दो बच्चे
हमारे बीच प्रिंसिपल एडवाइज़र शैलेंद्र सर हैं। मैं बच्चों से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो स्वागत करें शैलेंद्र सर का।
The think tank behind the education revolution in Delhi. Sir has been the guiding light for all of us. Science is simply the word we use to describe a method of organizing our curiosity. Let us now enter into the world of science with Science Branch. I would now like to request respected DD Science Branch, Sudhakar Gaikwad sir, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
सभी को नमस्कार। मैं डॉक्टर सुधाकर गायकवाड़, डिप्टी डायरेक्टर, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं इस विजन क्विस्ट के तीसरे एपिसोड में। हमारे साथ आज हमारे जो गेस्ट है, जो हमारे मार्गदर्शक है, हमारे प्रेरणा स्रोत है और शिक्षा निदेशालय के बेहद ही लोकप्रिय शिक्षा निदेशक आदरणीय हिमांशु गुप्ता सर, इनका हम जोरदार तालियों से सम्मान करेंगे, स्वागत करेंगे। उसी तरह से हमारे बीच आज जिनके साथ हमारा इंटरेक्शन होने वाला है, जिनको हम सुनने वाले हैं और आपके मन के जो प्रश्न है वो पूछने वाले हैं, एक जानी मानी हस्ती हमारे बीच है जो इन्वायरमेंटलिस्ट है, साइंटिस्ट है, फिलोसोफर है, ऑथर है और जिनको अल्टरनेट नोबेल प्राइज़ से वो विजेता है। तो इन मैडम डॉक्टर वंदना शिवाजी, इनका भी डीओई की तरफ से हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं। इसी तरह से हमारे बीच प्रिंसिपल एडवाइज़र ऑफ एजुकेशन शैलेंद्र सर है, उनका भी हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं इस विजन क्विस्ट एपिसोड 3 में। हमारे एडिशनल डायरेक्टर साइंस आदरणीय जरीन ताज मैडम, इनका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। इसी तरह से डीडी एग्ज़ाम डॉक्टर संजय सुभाष जी, डीडी साउथ ईस्ट सुरेश मीना जी, हमारे साथ जो हमारे ओएसडी है हैप्पीनेस के डॉक्टर पांडे जी, ओएसडी साइंस के दुबे जी, हमारे बीच सर उपस्थित है जो सर का जिक्र किया है इंदु प्रकाश जी, इन सभी का हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं और स्वागत करते हैं उन टीम का जो साइंस ब्रांच की टीम है, जो नई उड़ान की टीम है, जो रात दिन काम करती है, साइंस के प्रति उनका लगाव है। हमारे पुंडरीकाक जी है और सभी साइंस टीम के मेंबर्स हैं, जो हमारी रूमी मैडम और साइंस ब्रांच के सभी साथी। और आज एक ख़ास बात है कि हमने उस विद्यालय के प्रधानाचार्य को भी बुलाया है जो पर्यावरण से सीधा जुड़े हैं। अपने स्कूल में उन्होंने पर्यावरण के प्रति जागरूकता लाई है और संवर्धन किया है अपने स्कूल का, अपने स्कूल को ग्रीन बनाया है। उनको भी आज हमारे वर्दी डायरेक्टर सर और चीफ गेस्ट के हाथों से आज सर्टिफिकेशन दिया जाएगा और उनका सम्मान किया गया। उनका भी मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ इस विद्यालय के प्रधानाचार्य। और जो बच्चे होनहार है, हमारे 15 डिस्ट्रिक्ट से यहाँ बच्चे आए हैं और उनके मन में बहुत सारे प्रश्न हैं जो पूरे दिल्ली के बच्चे इसके बाद जानेंगे कि हमारे कुछ बच्चे प्रतिनिधित्व कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बच्चे यहाँ, चाहे गवर्नमेंट के हो, प्राइवेट के हो, एडेड के हो, सभी स्कूलों से यहाँ छात्र आए हैं। उनका भी मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ। और मैं ज़रूर कहूँगा कि पिछली बार हमने एक एक्शन प्लान दिया था साइंस ब्रांच ने कि अप्रैल में आप क्या करेंगे प्लांटेशन के ड्राइव के बारे में, फिर मई में क्या करेंगे, जून में क्या करेंगे और जुलाई में किस तरह से पौधे लगाएंगे। इस बार इन्वायरमेंट डिपार्टमेंट में हमारे डीओई के लिए 2,75,000 प्लांटेशन का टारगेट दिया है और पिछली बार केवल 1.5 लाख दिया था। तो हमारा 2.5 लाख प्लांटेशन हुआ था। तो ये पूरा मार्गदर्शन हमारे झरीन मैडम का है और साइंस की टीम का है। हमारी पूरी साइंस की टीम एडिशनल डायरेक्टर साइंस के चेयरमैनशिप में स्कूलों ने विजिट किया और उन प्रिंसिपल को चुना जो स्कूल में अच्छा ग्रीनिंग किया है, अपना स्पेस पूरा ग्रीन किया है और इन्वायरमेंट से जुड़े हैं। तो इसी के साथ हमने वो सर्कुलर में डिक्लेयर किया था कि जो दिसंबर में हमारी टीम जाएगी, देखेगी और स्कूल को ग्रीन अवार्ड देंगी जिन स्कूलों ने ज़्यादा प्लांटेशन किया है। तो आज ये मौका है और इंटरेक्शन भी है। मैं ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा, सभी का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ। और जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि पर्यावरण हमारी रक्षा करता है, तो हम भी पर्यावरण की रक्षा करें, ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। इसी के साथ मैं मेरे वाणी को विराम देता हूँ और हमारे जो भावना जी और नील जी है आगे प्रोग्राम को बढ़ाएंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। हम सब नई उड़ान का नाम बार बार सुनते हैं। नई उड़ान की शुरुआत आज हमें 8वें अंक तक लेकर आ गई है। ये मैगज़ीन लगातार आगे बढ़ रही है। आप सब लोगों के मन में एक जिज्ञासा होगी कि आखिर इस नई उड़ान के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या हैं, थीम क्या है और किस तरह ये मैगज़ीन हमारे बच्चों के अंदर साइंटिफिक एटीट्यूड और बच्चों की विज्ञान में रुचि बढ़ाने में मदद करती है। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि एक वीडियो के माध्यम से हम नई उड़ान के विषय में जानें।
सितंबर 2021 शिक्षा निदेशालय की साइंस ब्रांच ने एक शानदार पहल की और लॉन्च हुई नई उड़ान। ये एक ई मैगजीन है जो छात्रों में वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण तथा विज्ञान के प्रति रुचि पैदा करने का एक प्रयास है। विज्ञान के क्षेत्र में शिक्षकों और छात्रों द्वारा किए गए नए प्रयोगों तथा विज्ञान जगत से जुड़े नए नवाचारों को इस मैगजीन में प्रमुखता से स्थान दिया जाता है। इस त्रैमासिक ई मैगजीन का प्रत्येक अंक किसी थीम पर आधारित रहता है। शिक्षकों और विद्यार्थियों में लोकप्रिय यह मैगजीन न सिर्फ जिज्ञासाओं का समाधान खोजती है, बल्कि उनकी अभिव्यक्ति का एक प्रभावी माध्यम भी बन रही है।
3 पिलर्स के ऊपर हमारी ये मैगजीन आधारित है: क्यूरियोसिटी, इंफॉर्मेशन एंड एक्सप्रेशन। हमारे बच्चे लगातार क्यूरियस होते हैं, अपने आसपास बहुत सारी घटनाओं को देखकर वो उनके बारे में जानना चाहते हैं। बहुत सारी चीज़ों की इंफॉर्मेशन उन्हें चाहिए, उस इंफॉर्मेशन को भी ये मैगजीन पूरा स्थान देती है। और कहते हैं रीडिंग मेक्स अ फुल मैन, कॉन्फ्रेंस अ रेडी मैन एंड राइटिंग एन एग्जैक्ट मैन। तो एक्सप्रेशन के माध्यम से हमारे बच्चे अपनी पूरी पर्सनालिटी में निखार लाते हैं, अपनी क्यूरियोसिटी को, अपनी क्रिएटिविटी को इंक्रीज करते हैं।
So let us now move on to the launch of our 8th edition of Nai Udaan magazine. We would like to request all our dignitaries to kindly come forward and do the honors. Nai Udaan, the quarterly science magazine, is an endeavor of Science Branch which aims to highlight the innovations of students and teachers in the field of science. The entire Nai Udaan team is requested to come forward and launch the magazine, the 8th edition. The theme of our 8th edition is waste management.
आपकी तालियां लगातार बजती रहें। आपके विद्यालयों तक ये मैगजीन पहुंचती है।
And if you open this magazine and see the articles are of none other than the teachers and the students. They talk about their innovations in the field of science. We would also like to launch the e-magazine, the e-version of this magazine. It is uploaded on the website of Directorate. We request our chief guest of the day, Dr. Vandana Shiva ma'am, to kindly do the honors. And we all can give a huge round of applause to this historic moment. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's an honor for the entire team that this magazine is launched by you.
प्रोग्राम के अगले चरण में हम विजन क्वेस्ट लेकर आए हैं और विजन क्वेस्ट एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम है जहां पर हम सभी लोग जितने भी हमारे मन में सवाल होते हैं उन सवालों का समाधान खोजने की कोशिश करते हैं और जवाब देने के लिए हमारे रोल मॉडल्स ही हमारे गाइड की भूमिका में होते हैं। मुझे ये बात कहते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि आज हमारे बीच जानी मानी पर्यावरणविद और अल्टरनेट नोबेल लॉरिएट डॉक्टर वंदना शिवा मैम हैं। मैं सबसे पहले मैम के विषय में आप सभी को बताना चाहता हूँ उन्होंने क्या काम किया है और क्यों वो एनवायरनमेंट के फील्ड में इतनी प्रभावशाली व्यक्तित्व मानी जाती हैं। Dr. Vandana Shiva is trained as a physicist and did her PhD on the subject Hidden Variables and Non-Locality in Quantum Theory from the University of Western Ontario in Canada. She later shifted to interdisciplinary research in science, technology, and environmental policy, which she carried out at the Indian Institute of Science and Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore. In 1982, she founded an independent institute, the Research Foundation for Science, Technology, and Ecology in Dehradun, dedicated to high quality and independent research to address the most significant ecological and social issues of our times, in close partnership with local communities and social movements. In 1991, she founded Navadanya, a national movement to protect the diversity and integrity of living resources, especially native seed, the promotion of organic farming, and fair trade. In 2004, she started Beej Vidyapeeth, an international college for sustainable living in Doon Valley in collaboration with Schumacher College, UK. Dr. Shiva combines the sharp intellectual inquiry with courageous activism. Time magazine identified Dr. Shiva as an environmental hero in 2003, and Asia Week has called her one of the 5 most powerful communicators of Asia. Forbes magazine in November 2010 identified Dr. Vandana Shiva as one of the top 7 most powerful women on the globe. Dr. Shiva has received honorary doctorate from University of Paris, University of Western Ontario, University of Oslo, and Connecticut College, University of Guelph. Among her many awards are the Alternate Nobel Prize, which is also known as Right Livelihood Award in 1993. Order of the Golden Ark, Globe 500 Award of United Nations, and Earth Day International Award. Lennon Ono Grant for Peace Award by Yoko Ono in 2009, Sydney Peace Prize in 2010, Doshi Bridge Builder Award, Calgary Peace Prize, the Thomas Merton Award in the year 2011, the Fukuoka Award, and the Prism of Reason Award in 2012. The Griffin, the Argento Prize 2016, and the Midori Prize for Biodiversity 2016, Virangana Award 2018, the Sanctuary Wildlife Award 2018, and International Environment Summit and Award 2018.
I think she deserves a huge round of applause. Such a heavy profile. We are all so inspired, ma'am. Thank you for being with us.
इस इसके अलावा 41 से ज़्यादा पब्लिकेशंस मैम के हैं, बहुत सारी बुक्स मैम ने लिखी हुई हैं और वो सारी किताबें लगातार एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज को एड्रेस कर रही हैं.
It's an honor indeed. So now we move on to our much awaited program, the Vision Quest, a program which gives opportunity to young minds to directly ask questions from eminent personalities. Today, as we all know, our special guest is Dr. Vandana Shiva, whose profile was read a while ago. I would like to request our worthy Director Education, Himanshu sir, and Vandana Shiva ma'am to kindly come on stage. We are indeed honored to have such an eminent personality amongst us, and we should give a huge round of applause to her. Vision Quest, the endeavor of science branch. And we always get guidance from our worthy Director, Education, Himanshu Gupta sir. Sir, I would like to request you to kindly begin this program with your question first.
Good morning, everyone. A very hearty welcome to Madam Vandana Shiva here in the 8th episode of Vision Quest. Madam, my first question to you is that you started off your career as a physicist, then you also did your PhD in quantum theory, and then later you shifted to ecology. And what basically inspired you to shift to this domain, and how has been your experience?
Thank you, Mr. Cook. For me, science is about searching, seeking, understanding how nature works. Its roots are in the word siere, to know. And I have a thirst for knowledge, but particularly the knowledge of how nature works because I have a passion for nature. And I was leaving for Canada to do my PhD, and I'd grown up in the Himalaya, in the Himalayan forest, and I wanted to make a last trek. I should trek a lot when I was your age. And I thought to do a last quick trek to carry my home with me. And I went to this region which used to be an oak forest, and the water used to be in the stream so you could swim. So I said, go swim, I'll walk in the oak forest. Oak forest had been chopped for an apple orchard on the Delhi Chamba belt. Oh, sorry, Mussoorie Chamba belt. And the river, Hemal, which used to, about 8 rivers emerge from that mountain. Song on one side, Hemal on the other side. It was now a trickle, the water was only till my ankles, no swimming, forget it. So coming back to Delhi, I stopped in a dhaba for the bus. I was waiting for the bus, and I asked the chai wala, I said, ye kya ho raha hai, jungle itte kat rahe hain? And he said, पर अब निराशा की बात नहीं, क्योंकि चिपको शुरू हो गया है. उसके पहले मैंने चिपको का नाम नहीं सुना था. So I said, चिपको क्या है? And then he explained that people have said they won't let the trees be cut, they'll come and hug them. चिपको का मतलब उनके साथ चिपकना. And I was leaving for Canada. So all I could do is, I said, I will come back every holiday. And I would encourage all of you to use your weekends, to use your holidays to volunteer in any organization which works in a field about which you're passionate. If you're environmentally passionate, come to an environmental organization. If you are passionate about women, go to a women's organization. Anyway, so I said, I'll come back every vacation. तो मैं साल भर लग के क्वांटम थियरी करती थी, खूब इक्वेशन सॉल्व करती थी, और फिर फ्लाइट लेके वापस आती थी. And you know, it's not easy for a graduate student to come back twice a year. So मैंने एक आंदोलन भी किया. मैंने कहा यहाँ के कनाडा वालों को इतना फेलोशिप मिलता है, हमको इतना कम क्यों मिलता है? हम एक ही काम कर रहे हैं, एक ही पीएचडी प्रोग्राम में. उनने हम सबकी एक बना दी. नहीं तो रेसिज्म था ना हर जगह. We used to get less. So I got enough money to fly home twice a year. And while I was doing my PhD in Western Ontario, I said I did a second PhD with my sisters of Chipko who had never been to school. From them I learned ecology. I call it my Chipko University of Ecology.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shiva, for sharing your journey with us. And now we move on to our students and we give them opportunity to ask questions.
Ma'am, good morning, sir. Myself, Joanne Maria Biju, student of Kerala Senior Secondary School, Vikaspuri. My question is addressed to both of you. My question is, millets were consumed in large quantities in India about 5 decades ago, but they got gradually replaced by more favored grains like wheat, rice, etc. What are the ecological and health benefits of producing and consuming millets?
I can talk about it in a brief and then perhaps Madam can supplement it. Number one, it is always good for a farm to have diversity. आप अगर एक ही crop बार बार उगाते हैं, like you are every year you are producing wheat on a field, then it will lose some key nutrients year after year. That's why we always talk about crop diversification. That you know you should have some part of the field to grow for wheat, some part for jawar, bajra, different sort of millets. So that in that ways you know it will complement also the soil's nutrient and supplement it. Number two, as far as the nutritional value is concerned, the nutritional value, like our body requires all sorts of nutrients. So the nutritional value of millets, some of the millets like if you talk about bajra or jawar, that is really very good, especially in different type of vitamins and proteins that are required for our body. And that's why this year we have International Year of Millets just to promote them. And we are seeing so good participation from various schools and students. We are, in fact, in our midday meals also, we have now started introducing jawar and ragi halwa and then bajre ki khichdi. So, and we obviously we have to look at the, you know, the season in which it can be utilized because some are आप अगर हमारे रूरल बेल्ट्स में जाएंगे तो आप देखेंगे जैसे बाजरे की हम बात करते हैं तो इन विंटर्स दे ईट बाजरे की खिचड़ी इन समर्स दे ईट बाजरा विद you know curd liquid curd and also probiotic so that ways you know each and every millet has its own the material the vitamins and minerals that are required in the body and we must have diversity in our fooding habits also so that all sort of nutrients that are required in body are catered to. Madam, if you would like to.
Well, thank you so much for that response and that all these initiatives are being taken. You are so right, Veda. Millets were the staple crop of India and the staple food of India. The best wheat grows in Madhya Pradesh these days. Sharbati, Kathia, Vagera. But when I talked to the farmers, they said, you know, wheat used to be for special occasions, for weddings, for pujas. Same for rice in central part. Of course, in the coastal areas, breakfast is rice, lunch is rice, dinner is rice, snacks are rice. Rice growing areas, of course, grow a lot of eater out of rice, but the dry areas grew millet. It's what's called the Green Revolution, which actually is a name given to introducing chemicals in farming in India. It was introduced in 1966. And I've done a book, maybe we haven't brought that book, but my books are on display. And anyone who needs to read more about this, please, you can order it. You know, Indu Prakash ji is here. He can make anything available to you. So they created, like I said, you know, I've experienced racism in my PhD time, and I fought against it. But there's racism in food. And millets were driven out by calling them primitive crops, backward crops, and a totally wrong misnomer. उनको कहते हैं मोटा अनाज, पर उनके दाने तो छोटे छोटे होते हैं. छोटी चीज को कहते हैं मोटा, मोटी चीज को कहते हैं छोटा, खोखले खाने को कहते हैं और उन्नत. So it was nomenclatured as something backward. And those were the days of white polished rice, white refined flour. अगर आपके रोटी में थोड़ा brownish होता तो people used to look down on each other. And of course रागी की रोटी तो काली काली होती है. तो इनके खिलाफ किसान के लिए भी अटैक हुआ कि ये तो inferior crops हैं, but consumer को भी feel करवाया ये कम है. जैसे हमारी भी चमड़ी थोड़ी काली है ना, तो अंग्रेज लोग तो सोचते हैं वो कालेपन से हम कम हैं. हम कम नहीं हैं, हम बराबर हैं. कभी भाई सुपीरियर है. सारी कंपनियां आजकल, every big company of the world is being run by an Indian because we haven't ruined our minds. These people have ruined their minds. They can't think together, they can't live together. If you look at the dialogues in America right now, it's impossible. So millets were driven out. So we started saving millets when I started Navdanya, and we call them भूले बिसरे अनाज. रेडियो में होता था प्रोग्राम भूले बिसरे गीत, तो हमने कहा ये भूले बिसरे अनाज हैं, इनको हम वापस लाएंगे, इनको फिर पॉपुलर बनाएंगे. हम लोगों ने तो 30 साल पहले, उससे भी पहले शुरू किया था. And I'm very happy this year is the year of millet. But we have to celebrate Black is Beautiful. We have to know the nutrition. You asked about the benefits. The benefits are limitless. First, they actually give more nutrition. And every millet gives different nutrition. So for example, if you eat ragi, when my baby was born, I used to make malt for baby food. It's better than any other baby food. We've actually got a book. In fact, for your primary schools, we're releasing it again at Bhumi, and I do hope the Directorate of Education and all the schools will join us, and I hope that Indra Prakash ji will follow up with a workshop on Bhumi and how all this can be brought up again. We have a book on complementary feeding. Ragi has more calcium than any other food. We call it jhangora, it's called barnyard millet, samaka chawal. It has more minerals than any other food. Then they grow with very little water. Why does Rajasthan have jowar and bajra? Because it can grow with 250 millimeters of water. Chemical rice requires 2,500 millimeters of water. So पानी की कमी तो बहुत बड़ा संकट है, and millets are the only ones that will grow. But they grow in marginal soils. More importantly, they give food to animals as well as us. Because we work with farmers, you know, the traditional jwari in Rajasthan is taller than Mr. Himanshu Gupta. Image mein hai na? And farmers are making more out of the straw of jwar for animals than the grain. And I hope through Bhumi we will work more on this. In my understanding, they also have higher power for recycling carbon dioxide, which is the key issue on climate change. But we'll come to that in detail because you're going to work on it. And I hope another issue of your Udaan will be dedicated to the link between climate change and food and the future of food, how some foods solve the climate problem, and how industrial food and chemical food is at the root of the climate problem. 50% emissions from the bad food system that also makes you sick. So much for you to explore on the scientific level. And you know, for those who think कि physics थी, science थी, अरे बाबा मैंने उस दिन से, जब से मैं चिपको के साथ जुड़ी, I have done science. It's just that it's science in interdisciplinary fields. You know, soil, not oil. biodiversity-based productivity, how plants work. I didn't attend a single class of biology, but I've learned biology from life, from women, you know. And the other thing I've learned is you never stop learning.
Absolutely.
You have to be a student all your life. Then you're a good scientist.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beta, for asking this wonderful question, and thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us that millets are actually, they can thrive in dry regions and with little resources. And I'm sure we are going to have one edition of Nai Udaan specially dedicated to how some foods can solve climate problem. Thank you so much, ma'am, for guiding us. We move on to our next question, please. Who would like to ask the next question? Yes, Beta.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I'm Krishav Janeja from Modern School, Barakhamba Road. My question is addressed to ma'am. Ma'am, we students are really inspired by your work, especially in founding the RFSTE. We've seen the current boom in urbanization and industrialization. How do we plan on striking a balance between economic growth and development, also empowering the women farmers and the local communities, considering they face severe environmental degradation?
Thank you very much. You know, when local farmers are empowered, there's no way they leave a village to live in a slum in a city. Indian rural areas did not migrate in huge quantities till after the 90s. And that's because our policies, you know, my own mother became a refugee after partition. You know, it ended up that she didn't know, but she was working in another country. Suddenly there was a line that created Pakistan and India. And when she finally was rescued, I won't go into detail, you know, she could either get a job or get compensated somewhere. And she said, now, she said, I've broken every glass ceiling a woman can break. And now I'll be a farmer. It's the highest vocation. And she brought us up on her farm earnings. These days, the farmers are in debt. Our calculations, we've done a book called Wealth Per Acre on the true calculation of the cost. First, farmers are growing food with very high costs of chemicals, seeds, etc. Then, they're getting nothing for what they sell. Prices are getting depressed. 5% of what you pay goes to the farmer. And in addition, the farmer's in debt. So farmers are leaving the villages for distress. They're refugees. We should see the explosion of our cities as a refugee crisis. And the way we solve it is by ensuring that A, we recognize that good farming is necessary. Because good farming is where we take care of the earth. Good farming is where we regenerate the biodiversity in the soil of the plants. Good farming is where you grow healthy food. Because anything that has come through industrial processes has had ingredients that make us sick. You know? So all the junk food is the curse of your generation. And the people in the West would like you to, in the future, eat fake food with totally fake ingredients. And they're saying, farming without farmers, food without farms, is their slogan of how to make money. Everything patented, seeds patented, the ingredients, you know, there's an Impossible Burger which has 14 patents on it. And I'm doing a book, my next book is on all of this, and this is also part of our Bhumi program. So when we are fair to farmers, nobody wants to stay in a bad city with pollution and, you know, everyday problems. And also the flooding question, I'm sure you'll agree, Mr. Gupta. Flooding is not just the amount of rain that comes. Flooding is the amount of water we block from flowing onwards. It's because of blockage of drainage. And urbanization is blocking all the flows. So when you think larger picture ecologically, I hope some of you will come to Navdani and learn farming and grow up to be organic farmers. We get IIT people, we get people from finance. I know so many bank guys, थक गए बैंक में बैठ के इन लोगों का पैसा बना के अब हम खेती करेंगे. And they come and learn organic from us. So I hope some of you will dream to be a farmer, because that is the highest science. Because in being a farmer, you're a soil scientist, you're a plant scientist, you're an entomologist, you're a climate scientist, you're a nutritionist. If you're a good farmer, you're a doctor. Yeah? If you look at how good farming reduces your medicine costs, you will realize that the real doctor is the soil and the farmer. So we have to have a movement of making farming what our civilization told us. Annadavta Sukhi Bhava was one slogan, and basically a farmer is the highest vocation. Then comes everything else, and the trading is the lowest. Since East India Company, trading was made the highest. But we have to redefine farming as taking care of the earth. And that's why we have to get rid of the chemicals.
Wonderful,
Thank you, ma'am.
ma'am. Real doctor is soil and farmer. वाकई हमें लौटना होगा अपने गांव की ओर, और हमको ये गुड फार्मिंग इज नेसेसरी के कॉन्सेप्ट को जितना आगे हम ले जा पाएंगे, हम शायद इस धरती को उतना खुशहाल बना पाएंगे. बढ़ते हैं अपने अगले सवाल की ओर.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Shelja from Navjeevan Model School. My question is addressed to you, ma'am. How can sustainable water management practices in how can sustainable water management practices help in mitigate water scarcity and ensure access to clean water for communities?
Thank you. You know, in my lifetime, I have seen the water scarcity being created. You could go to Rajasthan and you used to see Persian wheels which pull water out from 10 feet. In the desert, water was at 10 feet. You could go to any river. You could go to any river and drink water. It was so clean, because not polluting rivers was part of our culture. So how can we participate and promote sustainable management of water? First, we have to start respecting water again. You know, in our culture, Ganga माँ है, यमुना माँ है. हमारी तो एक स्टडी है कि अगर यमुना को हम ठीक रखें, दिल्ली की सारी ज़रूरतें पूरी हो सकती हैं. पूरी हो सकती हैं. The water crisis begins with the Green Revolution. Begins after 60s. Because the World Bank didn't just bring the new seeds and the chemicals. Those chemicals needed more water. So they made the farmers do deep tube wells. The deep tube wells then started sucking out and draining water. In many places, the water level is down 300 feet. In Gujarat, I've seen at 1,000 feet. You know, the water level. Because every bit of chemically grown food requires 10 times more water for the same amount of food as you would do organically. 10 गुना ज़्यादा पानी लगता है उसमें. इसलिए 75% वाटर आजकल कृषि में जा रहा है. पर कृषि का पानी, साफ पानी डाला जाता है, बाहर निकलता है polluted. Polluted है pesticide से, polluted है nitrate से. Nitrate pollution is a very bad problem. Nitrogen fertilizer से गैस भी निकलती है, nitrous oxide, which is 300 times more damaging than carbon dioxide. आप लोग climate discussion में कभी nitrous oxide का नहीं सुनेंगे. सब में भयानक गैस वही है. और फिर वो rivers में जाके, oceans में जाके dead zones create कर रहा है. The nitrate is killing the life in the water bodies. So we have to shift to an agriculture that conserves water and regenerates water. Conserving water means you have to use less water demanding crops. We just talked about the millets. So a shift from green revolution chemical rice in areas where rice is not a native crop, like Punjab, to millets. But you know, they used to eat millets. Punjab was a land of millets. Jowar bajra, makki ki roti, sarson ka saag. Bring back the millets, but give a MSP to the farmers. Those two together will solve the water crisis. Otherwise, Punjab will have no water in 10-15 years. As it is, they are a totally red zone. Second, shift to organic. Because I won't go into too much detail, come to Navdani and learn about this. Chemical farming destroys the capacity of the soil to have life. Living systems in the soil, the mycorrhizal fungi, the earthworms, the bacteria, they are the ones that create humidity in the soil. They allow the water. 1% organic matter, which feeds the soil organisms, holds 160,000 liters of water in a hectare. Socho. So organic soil is a dam. Chemical soil is totally empty. तो उसे irrigate करना पड़ता है बार 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 बार. हमारे फार्म पे हमने अपना irrigation 75% कम करा है जब से हमने काम किया, और हमारा water level 70 feet ऊपर आया है, क्योंकि organic matter recharges the groundwater also. And then the third is we have a very high culture. I don't think that book came, but I have a book called Water Wars. And in that book, I've documented all the amazing systems of this country. राजस्थान के डेजर्ट में पानी कहाँ से है? लोगों की मेहनत से है. जोहार है, क्या नहीं है वहाँ पे? no? एक एक बूंद रूफटॉप की कलेक्ट करते हैं अपने पानी के पीने के लिए. झारखंड में चले जाइए, वहाँ उनके अपने सिस्टम्स हैं. मैं बेंगलोर में 3 साल IIM में काम किया. वहाँ का टैंक सिस्टम इतना सोफिस्टिकेटेड है कि 1000 टैंक जैसे माला होती है उस तरह लिंक्ड है. इसका ओवरफ्लो इसमें, इसका ओवरफ्लो इसमें, इसका और सबका कम्युनिटी मैनेजमेंट. सो वी आर अ वेरी रिच कल्चर फॉर मैनेजिंग वाटर. वी हैव टू रिमेंबर द साइंस ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दिस नाउ, बट वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट वाटर इज नॉट an extra element. Water is central to life. We are water. And पता है humus क्या है बताओ? Humus is soil. The Latin word for soil is humus. The scientific word for living soil is humus, जिसमें खूब सारा organic matter है. Human का word कहाँ से आया? The word human कहाँ से आया? ह्यूमस से. हम मिट्टी के हैं, और जब हम मिट्टी को रेफरेंस करने लगेंगे, पानी का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा, क्लाइमेट का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा, हमारे समाज के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होंगे. क्योंकि जब हम जान लेंगे कि हम तो सब मिट्टी के हैं, अर्थ सिटीजन्स हैं, तो क्या स्किन कलर पे, धर्म पे कौन सी लड़ाई? सब फालतू हो जाता है ना.
I would like to add few things in it. That when you say about the consumption, if we talk just about Delhi, Delhi का water consumption per capita, किसी को आइडिया है कितना होगा? Per capita मतलब एक दिन में हम कितना पानी कंज्यूम करते हैं? That is around 250 liters. Per capita consumption of Delhi is 250 liters, while national average is around 150-140. और दिल्ली में जो पानी की acute shortage है, if we actually reduce, every individual tries to reduce his or her usage rationally, then there is abundant water in Delhi also through Yamuna. हम देखते हैं कि हम जो अपना टैप खोलते हैं, right from the day begins, ब्रश करने के लिए जो टैप खोलते हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा खोलते हैं, या फिर कोई भी कभी भी वाटर यूसेज करना हो, वेस्ट बहुत करते हैं while in bathing or other activities. So if we actually start, every citizen, जैसे होता है ना कि वोटिंग के अंदर बोलते हैं कि मेरे वोट से क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा. Generally there is an urban voters apathy because every person thinks that I am a single voter, how will it affect the democracy if I don't vote, and जो होना है वो तो होना ही है. Similarly पानी के यूसेज में भी everybody thinks कि यार मैं थोड़ा पानी एक्स्ट्रा भी यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, how does it matter? But if every citizen tries to minimize his or her usage, जैसे अभी बीच में दिल्ली में कई जगह पानी नहीं आ रहा था, then you must have realized कि किस तरीके से हमने judiciously पानी को यूज़ किया अपने घरों में. किया था कुछ बच्चों ने? नहीं. During that last week जब हमारे water plants were submerged, then there was shortage of water. At that point of time everyone tried to use it very judiciously, and we actually अगर हम अपने premises के अंदर, अपने घर के अंदर judiciously use करने लग जाएं, then a lot of things can be changed. Similarly, rainwater harvesting. Because of concretization of city, पानी कैसे एब्जॉर्ब होता है? पानी एब्जॉर्ब होता है या तो सॉइल में, मिट्टी में एब्जॉर्ब होगा, या फिर वो किसी उस सरफेस पे जाएगा जहाँ पानी हो. अब हमारे यहाँ पे वाटर एब्जॉर्प्शन क्यों कम हो रहा है? क्योंकि कंक्रीटाइजेशन हो गया है सिटी का. तो दैट्स वाई जहाँ जहाँ पॉसिबल, इवन दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, बट हम स्कूल्स के अंदर देख रहे हैं कि कई स्कूल्स के अंदर अभी भी बहुत सारे ग्रीन एरियाज हैं. जितना ज़्यादा ग्रीनरी रहेगा दिल्ली के अंदर, उतना ज़्यादा वाटर एब्जॉर्प्शन कैपेसिटी बढ़ेगा.
Thank you so much,
Mr.
sir.
Gupta, दिल्ली की गाड़ियों को बहुत नहलाया जाता है.
That is true, ma'am. दिल्ली की गाड़ियों को सच में बहुत नहलाया जाता है. We never know the worth of water till the well is dry. Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling us that we need to shift to agriculture that conserves water. Let us now move on to our next question.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I am Zaina Khan, student from Tagore International School, east of Kailash. My question is addressed to both of you. I wanted to ask, according to you, what exactly is ecofeminism? And in the patriarchal society, how do you think one can influence women to show active participation in agriculture-related forestry?
अब thank you, Meja. So, you know, ecofeminism was first used by a French feminist. I didn't know of her, I hadn't heard of it. But my work with Chipko and my book Staying Alive led to people starting to talk of ecofeminism. And then a publisher asked me and a colleague called Maria Mies, who just passed away, to write a joint book. Because she'd written a book that was a bestseller and I had written a book that was a bestseller. And they said, North-South, aap log partnership karke, ecofeminism pe kitab. And it's available, a book called Ecofeminism is available. So what do we see as ecofeminism? We see the same worldview and the same structures of power destroying nature and oppressing women. It's the same processes. And they come from the idea that nature is dead and women are passive objects. So what is ecofeminism? To remove those blinkers. By nature dead nahi hai. Zabardast alive hai. Sari life nature se aati hai. We wouldn't be alive if there wasn't a living nature. And no matter how you define it, women are the most creative and productive. You take real work. Most work is done by women. You take the real knowledge, you know, when I say I went to the Chipko University, yeah, of real knowledge of how forests and rivers are connected, how deforestation is leading. They told us of why the landslides will happen when you destroy forests and stability of the mountain, जो आजकल हमारे उत्तराखंड और हिमाचल में हो रहा है, वो उन्हें बता दिया था. तो their knowledge, their perseverance, yeah. So we have to redefine knowledge from being about dominating over nature. You know, there's a person, when I wrote Staying Alive, I said, kahan se soch aayi ki nature is dead? So I read Mr. Bacon, Francis Bacon. He wrote a book called Masculine Birth of Time. कहता अभी तक तो हम effeminate थे. Now we'll be masculine. We will make nature our slave. This is part of colonialism. We will make nature our slave. We will bind her in servitude. उसी टाइम वो ही मिस्टर बेकन विमेन को टॉर्चर कर रहे थे विचेस के लिए, पेजेंट्स को टॉर्चर कर रहे थे एनक्लोजर्स के लिए. बहुत लंबी कहानी है. बट ecofeminism very simply is recognizing life where it is, recognizing creativity where it is, respecting all life and all people with the same respect. Because हम तो अपने को कहते हैं ना वसुधैव कुटुंबकम. हमारे यहाँ एंथ्रोपोसेंट्रिज्म नहीं है कि इंसान पेड़ पौधों से ऊंचा है. हमारे लिए गाय माँ है पर धरती माँ है. So we are in a earth family. We don't think in anthropocentrism. So we have to come back to thinking of us as an earth family. And then when we come to think of it, सब में मेहनत घर में कौन कर रही? माँ ना? You go to do a survey, women have been told if you don't go out to work for a salary, you don't work. रात दिन काम कर रही हैं. So we define their knowledge as non-work, their work as non-work. We define their knowledge as non-knowledge. Now we got to learn how to respect again. And that respect is ecofeminism. And that respect of ecofeminism makes women more powerful and makes men more compassionate and powerful. The idea that men have to be bullies, that men cannot cry, क्या बकवास है? अगर दुख है तो आदमी भी रोए, अच्छा होगा. So we have to reclaim our humanity. And गांधी जी रोज एक प्रे करते थे, पता नहीं कितनों को याद है, मुझको और स्त्री में बनाओ. He wasn't asking for a sex change surgery. नहीं, आजकल बहुत फैशनेबल है अमेरिका में. He was asking for more compassion, because he could see Kasturba was constantly teaching him how to be more compassionate, how to be more resilient. So we all have to develop those qualities. We have to learn from nature, we have to learn from our mothers, and we all have to just become more compassionate, more courageous.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I think ma'am has truly described what exactly is ecofeminism. I just want to give an example of Greta Thunberg. That girl, at the age of 13 or 14, she is actually leading the global movement on climate change, and clearly, and her speech, "How dare you," created actually, those goosebumps in everybody's mind who actually watched that. And she's still, such kinds of icons of change also try to, bring a lot of, they actually bring changes in our society. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. आपके आंसर में ये मैसेज बहुत क्लियरिटी के साथ छुपा हुआ है कि अगर जेंडर इक्वालिटी कैंपेन के साथ हमारे एनवायरमेंटल कंजर्वेशन के आइडियाज़ मिल जाएंगे तो शायद हम बहुत तेज़ी से अपने इस प्रकृति को बचाने की दिशा में आगे बढ़ने के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त कर पाएंगे. बढ़ते हैं अपने अगले सवाल की ओर.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I am Divik Mehta of Bal Bharti Public School, Pitampura. My question is addressed to you, ma'am. In your book, Soil, Not Oil, you have mentioned that we need to shift our focus on providing food security rather than extracting fossil fuels for reducing poverty in our country. Ma'am, what immediate steps do you think that we should take to do the same?
The question you've asked is exactly the theme of Bhumi this year. So I hope even your school will participate. And please do get in touch and take from Indu Prakash's email. And for others who want to keep in touch, my email is very simple, vandana@vandanashiva.com. I wrote Soil Not Oil because agriculture was not in the discussion at all on climate change. But when I used to go to the field, I used to see that the monoculture fields have failed, the millet fields are doing fine, or the organic fields are doing fine. I was also looking at I know that when you package food, you use a lot of energy. You process food, you lose a lot. When you bring food from wheat from America rather than from our farmers in Punjab, we call it food math. So I took some of the data that was in the IPCC, industrial food, transport, a lot of food miles, and I came to an assessment of 45% of the greenhouse gas emissions which drive climate change come from an industrial food system. You will see the figure 33 these days, but they don't talk about the food miles, the food processing, and the packaging. That's 20%. They only talk about farming. But the food system includes how you produce. When you produce food with heavy, if you go to America, it's like a war. Their harvesters are as big as this hall. And now they're working on on vehicles without drivers, driverless tractors. वो खुद चलेंगे. Drone spray karega. That's why farming without farmers. But I mentioned nitrous oxide from fertilizer. 1 kilogram of urea takes 2 liters of diesel. तो वहाँ गया, फिर emission हुआ. So that's 14%. Then, when you change food to a commodity, रोटी तो 4 खा सकते हो ना, पर कमोडिटी तो चर्न कर सकते हो नॉन स्टॉप। तो जब से सोयाबीन कमोडिटी बना, तो तेल भी सोयाबीन, एनिमल फीड भी सोयाबीन, गाड़ी की चलना भी बायोडीजल सोयाबीन, सब कुछ सोयाबीन हो गया, गायों को भी सोयाबीन। For that, then you need more land. So, invasion to the Amazon, the current invasion is all for GM soya. And I've been to these places. They're illegal, they're cutting the Amazon. Cargill and Monsanto are there. The environment minister's back as environment minister, Marina Silva. She flew me over the Amazon to say these illegal people, we need help. They're destroying the Amazon. What deforestation is another 20%. Food miles, packaging, processing, which turns good food into bad, another 20%. And when you create uniformity, you have a lot of waste. So that's more than 50%. That's the oil economy of food. A fossil fuel-based agriculture and food system creates 50%. But when you shift to ecological agriculture, तो कहीं भी तेल नहीं इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, सॉइल के साथ काम कर रहे हो, तो वो 14% comes to zero, and more you're regenerating. I've got all the figures here. Within 10 years, we can reverse the climate emissions. You don't go into the Amazon, अपने खेतों में उगा के खाओगे. India जो उगा सकता है वो करोगे. And India has for centuries, on very little land, fed a very large population. It's a miracle. Not only because we grow biodiversity, as आपने कहा था, and biodiversity produces more, but more importantly, लोग भूल जाते हैं हम 4-4 सीजन में खेती करते हैं. यूरोप वाले तो एक सीजन में खेती करते हैं. वो एक सीजन की खेती मेजर करके करते हैं, हम तुम्हें खिला रहे हैं ना, हम आपको खिला रहे हैं. फिर वो 20% गया. फ्रेश खाना खाओ, घर का पकाया खाओ, घर का घरेलू जो कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री होती थी हमारी, वो वापस लाओ. उनमें एमिशंस नहीं है, वो 20% गया और अच्छा खाना आया. और वेस्ट तो है ही नहीं. अब हमारा जो डिनर होगा भूमि में, एंड आई विल मेक श्योर दैट इन्विटेशंस रीच यू. वी आर डूइंग अ डिनर टू ब्रिंग इट टू zero emissions, zero waste डिनर. हाँ, तो हमारा रिच गोड होता है ना, उसके अंदर भी खाते हैं हम, उसका छिलका भी खाते हैं, गोभी का डंठल भी खाते हैं, फूल भी खाते हैं. हम तो हर चीज में हर कुछ खाते थे. अभी वेस्ट करना सीखा है क्योंकि अमरीकी बनना चाह रहे हैं. पर खाने के लेवल पे अमरीकी बने तो ओबेसिटी, डायबिटीज, हार्ट अटैक, न्यूरोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स, ऑटिज्म वगैरह ऐसी जबरदस्ती से आ रहा है. यू नो, फॉलोइंग a diet to follow the American diet is the wrong path to go. So easy, you know, turn to soil what the soil. Another brilliant new research that's showing, and those of you interested in this, when you have good healthy soil and good organic matter, the soil organisms are producing nutrition. That diversity of nutrition is then going into the plant. So many nutrients humans can't create, the soil organisms can create. So the foods are rich in phytochemicals. When they're rich in phytochemicals, they're feeding your gut. Our gut has 100 trillion microbes. When we relate to the soil, our gut is healthy. When we relate through oil, our gut is sick and the planet is sick. Both fall sick, and we have to heal both.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So hunger is not caused by scarcity of food, but by scarcity of democracy. Absolutely. So we move on to our next question.
Warm good morning, respected sir and ma'am. I am Saloni from Sarvodaya Kohit Senior Secondary School, Muneka, and today is my question addressed to ma'am. Ma'am, you have been championing seed saving and seed freedom for decades. Why are these practices so important, and how has founding Navdanya worked and improved in India?
You know, the reason I founded Navdanya, and as you know, 91 it was, the body was created, body called Navdanya. But I started seed saving from 87. और पहले मैंने अकेले किया, गांव-गांव में जाके अपने चिपको के गांव में जाके ये बीज है, ये मुझे तो कुछ पता नहीं था. So I used to take old books from my parents' library. उनमें woodcuts थे, मंडवा के, जंगोरे के, and I take them to the village. ये उगाते हो, बचाओ, बीज बचाओ, बीज बचाओ, बीज बचाओ. Why was I saving seeds? Because I'd been called for a meeting in 87 because of my book on the Green Revolution, on the emerging biotechnologies. And the thing was, what will it do? So industry was there. Industry at that time was the chemical industry. And they said, now we've got to own the seed. We will use the possibilities of recombinant DNA of moving species across, genes across species, to claim we've made new novel organisms and take patents on them. And patents will be our future profits, and we have to make an international law that will make it illegal for farmers to save seeds. They announced it. Before that, I had not heard of intellectual property. I had not heard of GATT. And so I started to follow. I started to follow GMOs. I started to follow patenting. I started to follow GATT and WTO and intellectual property. I worked with our ambassador to ensure that we excluded in the WTO as well as in our national law the patenting of life. Our Article 3J of the Patent Amendment Law says plants, animals and seeds are not human inventions. आप मानते हो ना कि प्लांट एनिमल और सीड हम नहीं बनाते, हम मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं, but modification is not invention. So our law says no patents. But on the other hand, I said पता नहीं आगे क्या होगा, but if the farmers have no seeds, they're going to die. They're going to, at that point I said, they're going to die of buying seeds, like I've watched the farmers of Punjab get into debt for buying chemicals. Exactly what happened. BT cotton, illegally brought in. I won't go into the story. I've done many Supreme Court cases on this. BT cotton was brought in illegally into India in 98. They were stopped from commercializing till 2002 because I filed a case. We've lost 400,000 farmers to suicide. 85% of these suicides are in the cotton belt. 95% of the cotton seed is Monsanto. There's a competition commission decision on this. It's a prima facie monopoly. 95% of the cotton seed. So when seeds are monopolized through patents, it means two things: that it becomes more costly and farmers can't save their own seeds. They must buy every year. But seed quality itself is to renew. बीज हमारा, बीज को हम बीज कहते हैं ना, बीजा का मतलब क्या है? ज लाइफ, बीजा जिसमें जीवन खुद पूरे टाइम निरंतर नया होता है. That in which life arises on its own forever and ever and ever, that is बीज. हमारे गढ़वाल में जब वॉर हुई थी तो तोमड़ी में बीज मिले थे, लोग भूखे मर गए थे, बीज को नहीं छुआ. Because seed has to be saved for the future. You might not be there, but your children must be there. You know? That's why seed is the future, but seed is the past. Seed is evolution. Seed holds millions of years of evolution. And it holds the promise of millions of years of future evolution. Now the entire attempt is to make seed non-renewable, patented, responding to chemicals. You know, we live in a country where our peasants, tribal peasants, they were with me in Dehradun yesterday from Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh Orissa peasants evolved 200,000 varieties of rice. Socho. 200,000 varieties of rice. हमने नवदानिया में 4,000 बचा लिए हैं अलग-अलग seed banks में. And those of you who want to understand how communities save seeds and what it means to them, I commit Navdanya to take you for these exposure trips to communities. So you understand nature, biodiversity, and the real India, and what we have to protect.
Thank you very much, ma'am. हर बीज का अपना एक इतिहास होता है और उसको धरोहर की तरह नवदान्या में संजो के जिस तरह से रखा गया है, और ऑल टुगेदर ये एक नया एरिया है जो हमारे बच्चों के लिए भी बहुत एनरिचिंग है. 4,000 से ज़्यादा वैरायटी बीज की, धान की एक छोटे से एरिया में अगर मिलती है तो ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी सांस्कृतिक विरासत है. हमें इसके बारे में जानना चाहिए. आगे बढ़ते हैं अगले सवाल की ओर.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
I am Anika Chaturvedi from Birla Vidya Niketan, and my question is addressed to the both of you. Today, it is important for even young children to be aware about environmental conservation. How, in your opinion, can school textbooks be made more effective in order to inspire young students in various such aspects?
Directorate साहब आप इसको लेइए.
It's a very good question, and we are trying to, bring various aspects of conservation, soil conservation, agriculture, farming in school, and we are developing a curriculum specially on various agriculture practices, animal husbandry practices. In fact, NCRT has developed, there are full-fledged subjects on animal husbandry in 11th and 12th. Similarly, in agriculture and allied activities, there are, if you go on NCRT's website, you will find that they have developed proper subjects, and these subjects can be introduced in schools. The challenge is that you need to have those teachers who are trained in these subjects. So, in a way, in early years, obviously, we are also developing some sort of activity books, how students can do, small, small things in their schools to learn more about agri farming, like under Little League program, we have started plantation of fruit bearing trees, so that students are encouraged to take care of the tree that the seed that they have planted and that they are growing, and after few years when it starts bearing fruits, those fruits are used in the midday meal of the school. So we have started such things. Few schools have in fact brought out booklets of students learning about various farm techniques in school. They have made a small kitchen garden in school, and students are supposed to take care of the plant that they are growing. And many schools are in fact coming in this area forward, especially in primary and upper primary years. Obviously, for 11th and 12th, you require a detailed learning if you really want to go for agriculture sciences. Like in graduation, we have courses of Krishi Vigyan Kendras, IARI is there, and this year you will be happy to know that I was talking to Deputy Director General of IARI and ICAR. So he was telling that the number of applications that have come for agriculture courses has been tenfold, has seen an increase of tenfold times this year. So it also depends upon how we try to create that sort of interest in a child. One more thing that has started in few of the schools is hydroponics. Hydroponic farming in one of our schools also in Nanakpura we have started in partnership with one NGO, where a lot of microgreens and vegetables are being grown in the room itself, in the controlled temperature, and water is being supplied through that cocoa pits. And I think these are the ways we can start working in school, at school level. And I believe in your school also some sort of, I have seen like millet based food has started in your school, and a lot of focus has been given off on, I think weekly 2 days you are given millet based food, early primary students and upper primary. So these are some of the initiatives that school can take to promote. And curriculum is also being developed. NCRT has developed. In SCRT also we are developing curriculum focusing on agriculture. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Conservation is a state of harmony between man and land. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. So you are the future, and as sir rightly pointed out, that we are taking lot of initiatives in our schools to inculcate the interest in agriculture. We move on to our next question now.
I am Anagha and I am studying in Cambridge Primary School. I have a question for Director, sir. Dear sir, can you please talk about the environment conservation practices that you have adopted, and what advice would you like to give to students?
Okay.
First of all, uh, a very pertinent question that you have asked to me, and I would myself say that the things that I am doing as in my own capacity as and in official capacity. In my own capacity, I try to sit outside my office room, and I sit I have a good, a very old tree, and I sit beneath it, and I don't use AC in office. I use water coolers. So that ways I am trying to save, the power. Power consumption of my office has come down. And if you talk about, I also try to walk a lot at my home whenever I have to get some vegetables. I have a cycle. I try to use cycle and try to get vegetables back home. So this is also one way of saving, power. As far as doing in my official capacity, in lot of the schools we have, started. We have a lot of solar panels on our rooftops. So that ways we are promoting renewable energy. And then in many of the schools we have zero waste policy, where students are promoted to segregate their waste. And there are few schools where we don't have any dustbins in our government schools. So students are asked to not create any waste in the school. Similarly, in many of our schools we are having lot of area for green plantation. We have recently also we will be getting 2 lakh seed plants for forestry in our schools, which we'll be doing in many of the schools. So that ways we are promoting. We are also we have started this Nai Udaan magazine, and special focus is on green schools, and we have instituted green school awards also to promote those schools in Delhi which are focusing on green activities in their school. So that ways we are trying to promote sustainable environment in Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। लगातार आप अपने आचरण से ये अपने एनवायरनमेंट को बचाने के लिए बहुत अच्छे अच्छे संदेश देते रहते हैं। किसी सुहानी सुबह कई बार सर की फ़ोटो फेसबुक पे साइकिलिंग के साथ आ जाती है, और हमारे दिल्ली के सभी टीचर्स उस फोटो को लाइक ही नहीं करते बल्कि मोटिवेटेड भी फील करते हैं। एट सेवरल ओकेजन्स सर अपनी कार छोड़ के मेट्रो कैच करते हैं इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग्स में पहुंचने के लिए। साथ ही जो आदतें स्कूलों में बच्चों की बहुत अच्छी हैं उसको भी प्रमोट करते हैं। और इसी कड़ी में ग्रीन अवार्ड्स भी हमारा यही है, जिसके बारे में हम अगले सेगमेंट में जानेंगे। और हम ये सब कोशिश करेंगे, हम सभी बच्चे, कि हमें अपने अंदर बदलाव लाना है, हमें अपनी आदतों को बदलना है। बढ़ते हैं अब अपने अगले सवाल की ओर।
Morning to both of you. I am Kinjal Dheer from Air Force Bal Bharti School, and my question is addressed to you, ma'am. Economic development in a country is measured by its advancement in aviation. However, it contributes to 5% of global warming. Do you think it should be outlawed?
You are in Bal Bharti School, which I think is an Air Force school.
Yes.
We jolly well need our Air Force pilots. Yeah? We definitely need necessary flying. I'm not among those who says stop the flying. I'm definitely against the billionaires who 1% causes 50% of the pollution, who fly around daily in their private jets. And one of them even owns all the private jet servicing systems now. I've written 2 books on him, so if you all want to find out more about him. We definitely need zero industrial food, because we can create better food with less resources, healthier people, no emissions. Fertilizer. You know, the fertilizer emissions in its full life cycle of production of fertilizer is more than all the aviation. So you want to solve the problem, get rid of the fertilizers and keep flying to a minimal. The faltu, you know, I was sitting with my coordinators from around the country, and our people from the Himalaya, and maybe through your IS circle you can spread this word, they are saying that these helicopter services that have been started for impatient people who are no more pilgrims. Pilgrim means ek parents ke saath pahuncho Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri, Gangotri, वो fly करके जाना चाह रहे हैं, and they are saying the melting is so aggravated, both because of the noise as well as the pollution. So we need to know the limits. The whole issue of ecology is understanding limits, understanding the difference between the necessity and the surplus. You know, I come from Dehradun, and you know, people now from Delhi can reach in 5 hours. So everyone with the board on over the weekend runs to Masuri, Dehradun. You know, so we must reduce our boredom, so we don't have to rush around so much. Be happy where you are. You do happiness classes in your schools. You know, when I went to do my PhD, let me just spend a minute telling you this. Went to do my PhD, you know, desi ladki, and weekend पे campus empty. सब भाग जाते थे गाड़ी में बैठ के. कोई जा रहा है 500 मील दूर एक पार्टी के लिए, कोई जा रहा है 200 मील दूर एक पार्टी के लिए. अच्छा, तुम इतने व्याकुल क्यों हो कि 400 मील जाना पड़ रहा है? यहाँ रह के खुश क्यों नहीं रह सकते? You know, I'm happy in my room. I go to the library, I do my work. So this, you know, life of boredom has created the need for escape. The need for escape has created both the unnecessary flying within, and for the billionaires, the unnecessary imagination of flying to Mars on SpaceX.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So climate change is no longer some far-off problem. It is happening here, and it is happening now. We need to understand our limits, and we need to draw a line between what is necessary and what is a luxury. We move on to our next question.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I am Dishabis from ASUSC Madanpur Khadar. Ma'am, my question to you is, we have heard a lot about food sovereignty, but I could never understand it completely. As you advocate this, would you please explain that what is food sovereignty all about, and how does it help to improve the biodiversity?
So, you know, in our land, the word for sovereignty is Swaraj. Gandhi ji ने हिंद स्वराज किताब लिखी थी, और हम एक कोर्स सिखाते हैं हिंद स्वराज पे, always नवंबर में. Swaraj का मतलब self-rule, self-governance. It's at the personal level to know the difference between the luxury and the necessity. That is Swaraj. Swaraj means to know what's right and wrong for the earth, for each other. Swaraj for a community means that you have what you need in the community. You're not dependent on others. Swaraj or Swadeshi go together. So food sovereignty is Anna Swaraj. That's the movie. We started in Navdanya. Beach Swaraj, कि अपना बीच sovereign हो, मुनसाइंटों पर निर्भर ना हो, और अनस्वराज खाने पे sovereign हो. इसका मतलब हर एक किसान sovereign हो कि इतनी तो खेती करे अपने लिए. अकेला बेचारा टमाटर उगाएगा, और सब टमाटर उगा रहे हैं, फिर फेंकेगा. Onion उगाएगा, फिर फेंकेगा. अभी on the trip from Delhi to Dehradun, the hybrid corn, which is spreading everywhere, 95% of the corn now in India is a hybrid corn, goes for animal feed. But those fields have been destroyed because they were not designed for too much water. You know, there's water all over because of too much rain. Your schools were closed because of the flooding threat. So, sovereign means to be able to grow what you need in ways that is resilient. It will survive the rain and the drought. In ways that does not create dependency. Therefore, organic farming becomes part of sovereignty. In ways that you're not depending on the global market, on the price. Therefore, create village markets, create regional markets. I have worked with our farmers to say, खाना तो सबको है ना? हर एक किसान नहीं है, पर खाना तो सबको है। अगर सबको खाना है तो सब एक ही चीज उगाओगे तो लेन देन क्या होगा? नहीं हो पाएगा ना। पर डाइवर्सिटी उगाओगे तो एक आलू उगा रहा है, एक प्याज उगा रहा है, एक टमाटर उगा रहा है, एक गोभी उगा रहा है, एक ज्वार उगा रहा है, एक बाजरी उगा रहा है, एक रागी उगा रहा है, एक जंगोरा उगा रहा है, एक चावल उगा रहा है, गेहूं। पहला इकोनॉमी गांव में बन जाता है खुद। एंड वहां पे टोटल फेयरनेस, नो वन चीट्स ईच अदर। देन रीजनल, so Navdanya has helped farmers with stores. We have some Navdanya stores, one here, one in Noida, and the price is set by farmers. That's food sovereignty, where the corporations don't set the price, people set the price, and it's fair to the farmer and it's fair to the consumer. But food sovereignty also means, for the consumer, knowing what is good to eat for you, what's good to eat for the climate, what is good to eat for your health, you know? And that's why food sovereignty means consciousness and mindful. कब मैंने कहाँ देखा था mindfulness? नहीं था, चारों तरफ mindfulness है आपके स्कूल में. Food mindfulness is food sovereignty. Anna Swaraj. And you know, people have got very confused about the word sovereignty because West ने sovereign interpret किया, not self-rule, but Raja. Sovereign is the king. So they interpret sovereignty as the ruler's sovereignty, which it is not. Sovereignty is of the people of Meth. I go further because I see nature as living. The river has a sovereignty to flow. Nirmal Aviral hum kehte nahi hai. The atmosphere has a sovereignty to not be polluted. The soil has a sovereignty to be living. हमारा एक बहुत सुंदर है ना पाठ, शांति पाठ. May the peace of the skies, the soil, may the peace of the vegetation, may the peace of the air, may the peace of space, may peace of water be with you. That means if they have to be at peace, then their sovereignty must be respected. That means their ability to self-organize and self-rule must be respected.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. और मुझे लगता है यहाँ पर जितने भी बच्चे इस ऑडिटोरियम में मौजूद हैं, अगर आज वो ये प्रण ले लें कि वो फूड वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, किसानों के प्रति अपने मन में सम्मान रखेंगे और एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस में जितना हो सकता है, चाहे वो किचन गार्डन लेवल पर ही हो, कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे, तो शायद हमारा आज का सेशन बहुत सफलता की ओर रहेगा. तो क्या आप ये वादा करते हैं कि आप फूड वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे? आवाज़ बहुत कम आ रही है. थैंक यू सो मच. अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ बढ़ते हैं अब हम.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार मैम. मेरा नाम गौरी है. मैं जी ट्रिपल एस सेक्टर 25 रोहिणी की छात्रा हूँ. मेरा सवाल मैम के लिए है. मैम, आप अपने जीवन से कोई ऐसा उदाहरण या अनुभव हमारे साथ साझा करें जिसने आपको एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट बनने के लिए प्रेरित किया, और आप हमारे देश की युवा पीढ़ी को इस ओर कैसे प्रेरित कर सकती हैं?
मैंने वो ट्रैक की तो बात की थी जिसने मुझे चिपको बुक के बारे में जानकारी दी, पर उसके बाद एक मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट ने हमें कमीशन दिया था कि मसूरी में लाइमस्टोन माइनिंग हो रही थी, जहाँ जैसे गुप्ता पढ़े हैं IAS अकेडमी में. इंदिरा गांधी वहाँ आई थी और करीब 81-82 की बात है. एंड उनने कमेंट किया, द क्वीन ऑफ द हिल्स इज बीइंग स्ट्रिप्ड नेकेड, बिकॉज मसूरी को क्वीन ऑफ द हिल्स कहते हैं. तो सब थर काँपने लगे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट में, और इमीडिएटली ढूंढने लगे कौन है एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट. ज़्यादा नहीं थे हमारे ज़माने में. तो उनने हमें कमीशन किया ये स्टडी ऑन द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ लाइमस्टोन माइनिंग इन डून वैली, विच वी डिड. हमको जो मैप दिया गया उसके बेसिस पे हमने स्टडी किया. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस गया. हमने स्टडी किया कि वो लाइमस्टोन है, वो एक्वाफर है, वो पानी बचाता है. जब लाइमस्टोन माइन हो जाता है तो पहले तो पानी गायब हो रहा है, और वो महिलाओं ने मुझे कहा था, मैंने कहा लाइमस्टोन का इश्यू क्या है? उन्होंने कहा पानी गायब हो जाता है. पर दूसरा है कि वेस्ट आते हैं रिवर्स में, स्पॉइल्स आ रहे हैं, और नदी का स्तर आसपास की ज़मीन से ऊंचा हो रहा है तो फ्लडिंग हो रही है, गांव बह रहे हैं. Many complications. So we mapped it all, costed it all, and we said if this aquifer is destroyed, which is nature's water tank, then building a water tank of equivalent amount will take how many crores? And on that basis, Supreme Court ruled, it's a brilliant ruling of 83. It said, Article 21 guarantees the right to life of people. And water, of course, is central to life. When commerce undermines the right to life, commerce must stop because life must carry on. वो रूलिंग हुआ. एक खदान मैप में नहीं थी. तो जब रूलिंग आया तो मेरे घर में देहरादून में पूरा विलेजर्स का आर्मी आ गई कि हमारी क्यों नहीं खदान रोकी. I said it wasn't in the map. So I said, if we do a chipko, they called it chipko. If we do a chipko of the mountains, will you join us? I said, of course. So I started helping them. And one day, as usual, mafia rule तो होता ही है हर जगह. कोई कुछ भी छू लो, water का sand, जमीन, कुछ भी छू लो, mafia है उसके पीछे. So this mafia beat up the women with iron rods and chains and all, and I got them. There was no phone, no smartphone those days. Someone came on a mobile. They said they've been beaten up. So I went, and I thought, the women will be at home. I thought I'll go to the village. They're still sitting in the tent, which was the Satyagraha tent to stop the mining. Someone with a bandage on the head, someone with a fractured arm. And I said, you people have just been beaten up, and you're back again in the protests. And this has been such an inspiration for me. And Itwari Devi, who was leading this campaign, she said to me, हाँ जैसे हम घास पे चल रहे हैं, घास फिर से आ जाती है. हम पेड़ों से पत्ते लेते हैं अपने जानवरों को फॉडर देने को, वो पत्ते वापस आ जाते हैं. वो जो शक्ति घास में है, पत्ते में है, पानी में है, वो शक्ति हम में भी है. इसलिए पिटाई के बावजूद हम आ गए. हाँ? So to those of you, two things. One is, remember this, that you and nature have the same creative power of renewal and regeneration and never getting exhausted. Exhaustless power. Second, like I said, I have shifted each time because of an experience, going and seeing a forest go, seeing a river dammed. And I would invite you all to not just travel for vacation and eating the same food in the same McDonald's everywhere. No. Find places where you can find inspiration from communities. And like I said, Navdanya is more than willing, because we work with communities, we are more than willing to facilitate your visit to Navdanya itself, your visit to communities, so that you get more strength and also deepen more solidarity with the people in remote parts of this country.
धन्यवाद मैम.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And like you said, you are nature. You have the power of renewal similar to nature. Youth have the power to make or break a society. They have a voice and change the future of a country. We move on to our next question. There's a small announcement that due to shortage of time, we'll not be able to take all the questions. So this would be our last question of the day.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I'm Adya Dua of Springdale School, Pusa Road. And my question is to you, ma'am. Ma'am, the market is flooded with genetically modified varieties of golden rice, corn, potatoes, etc. Ma'am, how do we distinguish them from the indigenous varieties?
First, the market isn't flooded. Only cotton is allowed in this country. And yes, the oil is GMO soya oil, which is anyway bad for you because it's produced through solvent extraction, which uses a neurotoxin for extracting the oil. It's heated at very high temperature. And talk to doctors and they'll tell you industrial oils are making people sick. A kachi ghani ka tel is the healthier tel. We did a sarso satyagraha in 1998 when they started to dump soya oil. And all our ghanis were shut down, sarso was shut down. And they said, oh, India's the El Dorado of soya. We'll sell soya for dal and we'll sell soya for oil. We said, hum to sarson bachayenge, kyunki, women from the slums called me, said, hamara sarson wapis lao. We saved the sarson. And kachi ghani ka tel ab phir se bikne lag gaya hai har jagah. And it's much, much healthier. So first, the issue is not to look at the GMO. Most GMOs, if they are there, are illegal. गोल्डन राइस कमर्शलाइज नहीं हुआ है अभी, कहीं भी नहीं है। हमारी एक छोटी सी ये किताब है, मैं ये शेयर करती हूँ क्योंकि सबको बचाया जाता है, ओ विटामिन बढ़ जाएगा, ओ खाना बढ़ जाएगा। एक तो आपको 3 किलो राइस खाना पड़ेगा अपना डेली रिक्वायरमेंट के लिए, और वो रहता नहीं है। अब मालूम पड़ा वो इवेपोरेट, बट आर्टिफिशियली कुछ भी बाहर से डालो वो टिकता थोड़ी है, it evaporates. So they're having to do experimentation with vacuum packing for keeping this vitamin A in the rice for 6 months. Can you imagine if all the rice had to be vacuum packed? The cost of it? Yeah. So there's no vitamin A rice in the market at all. But what, instead of looking at vitamin A rice, look at one tablespoon of spinach or cholai seed, enough vitamin A. 4 tablespoons of sarson bathua. 1 tablespoon of dhania, you eat that every day in your chutney. 1 carrot, 1 gajar, 1 mango. आजकल तो मैंगो का सीजन है। इतनी विविधता है हमारे देश में जो स्वाद भी है और स्वास्थ्य भी देता है। ये जो भ्रम फैलाए, ये 2000 में इंट्रोड्यूस किया था एज अ आइडिया। We drove it out of India in year 2000. I called it the blind approach to blindness prevention. That here are all these alternatives that are better for vitamin A. We have all the data of what mixed farming produces how much of what vitamin. So they are trying and will try to sneak GMOs. Your work is to make sure you get safe, good food. Therefore, grow it in your garden of hope. It's a campaign I started long. I'm so happy there are gardens in the school. And let's multiply this, not just in all the government schools, but in every one of the schools participating here. You've committed yourself already that you will be part of the Gardens of Hope network. Second, find farmers. And if you can't directly connect to the organizations that work with farmers, look for food that's healthy and good for the planet. And the GMO system will fall on its face. Anyway, the fake, 3 years ago, all these prime ministers and presidents were saying, everyone will be eating fake food. There'll be no farmers. Everyone will be eating fake food without farmers. One by one, these companies are collapsing. Like that. दूध क्यों पीते हो? दूध क्यों पीते हो? नहीं, सोयाबीन का दूध पियो, ओट्स का दूध पियो, सब कोलैप्स हो रही हैं ऐसे। Because people realize थोड़े दिन fad में चले जाते हैं, but at the end of the day you get new allergies, you have some vitamin deficiency. So प्रकृति ने सब कुछ दिया है, जहां हमारे किसान देखभाल करके वो विविधता उगा रहे हैं, आप उसका भाग बनिए कि विविधता खाइए। हमारा आयुर्वेद कहता है अन्नम सर्व औषधि, पर सर्व औषधि तो तभी होगा जब विविधता होगी। हर बार 6 तरह के टेस्ट खाने चाहिए, उससे सब कुछ आ जाता है ना। सो इफ यू थिंक डाइवर्सिटी, ईट डाइवर्सिटी, the whole system of diversity renews itself. Your eating can be a revolutionary act.
Thank you, ma'am. Your eating can be a revolutionary act. Golden line of the day. हमारे देश में और बहुत स्वस्थ और बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्राचीन परंपराएं खान पान को लेकर हैं। ज़रूरत है बस जागरूक होने की, उन्हें पहचानने की, उन्हें जानने की और अपने जीवन में अपनाने की। डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ एजुकेशन लगातार कोशिश करता है कि मैम हमारे विद्यालय ग्रीन भी रहें, गार्डन्स भी रहें, और वर्दी डायरेक्टर सर के नेतृत्व में हमने मिनी ब्रेक भी शुरू किया है, जिसमें जंक फूड्स को हम कम्प्लीटली कैसे बच्चों से दूर रख सकते हैं। सर ने बहुत इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं, मिलेट से लेके इसके अलावा जितने भी तरह के फूड्स बच्चे बहुत ईजिली ला सकते हैं, हमारे स्कूलों में चल रहा है बहुत अच्छे से। समय की कमी है और हमें कार्यक्रम को अब आगे बढ़ाना पड़ेगा और प्रश्न उत्तर के इस सिलसिले को यहीं विराम देना होगा। बट मेरा आपसे ये वादा है कि जिन बच्चों के सवाल छूट गए हैं उन सभी सवालों के जवाब हम वंदना मैम से ले लेंगे। हम आपके पास उन सवालों को पहुंचाएंगे और अपने बच्चों की जिज्ञासाओं का समाधान उन तक पहुंचाएंगे।
आप 150 क्वेश्चंस
जी जी तालियां बजाइए बच्चे, आपके मन के सारे सवालों के जवाब आपको मिलेंगे।
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been great listening to you.
Could I just say one little thing?
Sure, ma'am.
So, you know, my understanding is same things that colonize nature, colonize women, and colonize your future. And our work together has to be sab pedi jud ke,
Yes.
all colonizations ko hataएं, and secure your future through a nature that sustains us.
Absolutely. So I'm sure we have had lots of learnings from today's program. If someone could quickly share one or two learnings from today's program. If someone, yes, Shreya. I would like to introduce Shreya as the UNEP ambassador to India for Tunza Eco Generation. And she has recently graduated from Dexterity School of Leadership. So we are really proud of you, Shreya. You can share your learning with us.
माइक एक सेकंड।
I learned a lot from this talk. I was taking like hard notes since the beginning, and my notes are filled with like 6 and 7 pages full. And 4 key things which I learned is that the first thing is that we have to take care of every inch of our action from now onwards. I think sir and ma'am both mentioned that how even small wastage of water, even eating one single kind of food which is not diverse, is right now hindering our path for getting net zero carbon emissions or for even solving environment. The second important thing which I learned is that how we need to actions. We need to stop talking now, and we really need to shift our talkings from actions. Even if we take very small action at our own scale, we will be able to fight climate change today. And the third thing which man said, and it really impacted me, is understanding the limit. I've always learned about drawing a line, but I think we need to draw this line even in our environment actions. And lastly, as someone who is a lifelong researcher and explorer, I haven't explored the world much more right now, but I always love to explore new things. There are 2 questions that I got from this talk to research more now. The first thing is that how our food systems are impacting us, and how can we make our food system more sustainable. And the second question, which I am really curious right now, is that how our chemicals are harming, specifically those chemicals which are being used in agriculture. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Shreya is a student of SKV Aya Nagar. Thank you, Shreya, for sharing your learning. Any other student, quickly, if you can share 1 or 2 points. Beta, please pass on the mic, Shreya.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I am Laiba Hashmi from Madanpur Khadar ASOSC, and I have learned so many things today that I can't even end the list. But from inspiring journey and life of you, ma'am, I've learned so many things, that to be kind, to not limit our potential and stand against all the odds. And I'm a blogger now. I will be a little minimalist blogger from now onwards and try to catch as many as people as I can. And just like I'm protected towards my things, the environment belongs to me and it's mine also. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
अब हम अपने कार्यक्रम के आखिरी पड़ाव, आखिरी हिस्से की तरफ आ गए हैं, जहां पर हमें ग्रीन अवार्ड्स को डिक्लेयर करना है।
Before going to give the green award to our all the respected head of the schools, just today's interaction, what a beautiful interaction in between our respected guest, our worthy director sir, and this is the initiative taken by our worthy director sir. So big hand, give the big hand to our worthy director sir. सर का ये विज़न था कि हमारे बच्चे कॉन्फिडेंट बने और इस लायक बने कि वो अपने मन की प्रश्न जो भी है, जिज्ञासा है, अपने स्पेशल गेस्ट के साथ शेयर करें। अगर ये शेयर कर सकते तो मानो आप फुल कॉन्फिडेंट हो। तो थैंक यू सर, ये पहल के लिए। ये विजन क्वेस्ट के फल सर की है, क्योंकि हमने नई उड़ान हर क्वार्टरली मैगजीन हम पब्लिश करते हैं, बट सर एक पर्सपेक्टिव सर ने ऐड किया है कि क्यों ना हम ये विजन क्विस्ट इस तरह से कराया जाए, और डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ दी पहली शुरुआत हमने हमारे डायरेक्टर सर से की थी, और सर ने कहा ना मेरा हॉबीज एक वर्क्स के नीचे है और ये है, तो वी लर्न अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रॉम आवर डायरेक्टर सर। जब भी हमें जाते हैं ना उनके पास तो पॉजिटिव विब्स सर के पास से आती है। तो थैंक यू सर और थैंक यू मैडम कि आज फार्मिंग और बाकी सीड एंड क्या मतलब हमने नई परिभाषाएं जो है वो आज सीखी है डॉक्टर वंदना शिवा मैडम से, एंड रियली वंडरफुल सेशन इंटरेक्शन टुडे वी डिड। एंड अब देखो ये ग्रीन अवार्ड भी हम उसी को लेके आज दे रहे हैं। हमने सोचा था, सर की भी हमारी सबकी सोच है, और सर ने बताया कि कई स्कूलों में हमारे एक्सपेरिमेंट चल रहे हैं। जैसे अभी फ़िलहाल एक स्कूल है जहाँ एक फॉरेस्ट बनने जा रहा है और सर ने अभी फिलहाल परमिशन भी दी है, एंड हाइड्रोफॉर्मिक है, मियावाकी टेक्निक्स है, कई सारे टेक्निक्स हमारे स्कूल अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल एज वेल प्राइवेट स्कूल में तो अपनी प्रैक्टिस है। और जो वेस्ट है, आउट ऑफ वेस्ट, उससे भी कुछ चीज़ें हमने बहुत सारे गार्डनिंग्स डेवलप की है। तो ये सर का हमारा मोटिवेशन है, मार्गदर्शन है। थैंक यू वेरी मच बोथ ऑफ द इमिनेंट पर्सनालिटीज टुडेज हियर। एंड अब अवार्ड के लिए हम भावना जी के पास दोबारा जाते हैं।
सोचिए क्या होगा जब आखिरी पेड़ काट दिया जाएगा, जब आखिरी मछली पकड़ ली जाएगी, जब आखिरी नदी भी प्रदूषित हो जाएगी, जब सांस लेने वाली हवा हमें बीमार बनाएगी। शायद तब हमें प्रकृति की अहमियत का एहसास हो। लेकिन क्या आपको नहीं लगता तब तक बहुत देर हो चुकी होगी? जी हाँ, हमारा पर्यावरण हमारी ही जिम्मेदारी है, और इस जिम्मेदारी के संदेश को डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ एजुकेशन अपने स्कूलों तक लगातार पहुंचाता रहा है, और हमारे बच्चे बढ़ चढ़ के अपने स्कूलों को हरा भरा बनाने के लिए और अपने स्कूलों को अपने आप में एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली बनाने की लगातार कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये मुहिम दिल्ली के सरकारी स्कूलों में ही नहीं बल्कि दिल्ली के सभी प्राइवेट और एडेड स्कूलों में ने भी इस प्रतियोगिता में बढ़ चढ़ के भाग लिया, और हम सब लोग इस संदेश को लगातार अपने बच्चों तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि सिर्फ एनवायरनमेंट की बात करने से और पॉलिसियों के इंतज़ार करने से हमारा पर्यावरण बदलेगा नहीं। हमें अपनी आदतें बदलनी होंगी, हम सबको अपने अंदर एक छोटे छोटे सुधार लाने होंगे, और वो सुधार ग्रीन अवार्ड्स में के रूब्रिक्स का हिस्सा थे, जहां पर ये देखा गया कि किस स्कूल में सिर्फ एनवायरनमेंट की बात हो रही है या वहां के बच्चे एनवायरनमेंट को बेहतर बनाने की लगातार कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो इसी कड़ी में आज इन अवार्डों की घोषणा होनी है।
The government of NCT of Delhi is taking many green initiatives to reduce pollution and waste, conserve resources by carrying plantation drives, reducing waste or using biodegradable or reusable products, and organizing awareness campaigns in the schools of DOE. To promote these initiatives and to motivate the schools for more contributions to the Directorate of Education, we have decided to remunerate the best green schools with Green Award. And now we begin our much awaited Green Award distribution program. We would like to request our dignitaries to kindly come on stage. Respected Additional Director Ma'am Zareen Taj Ma'am, DD District Meena Sir, OSD School Branch Pandey Sir, OSD Science Branch Dubey Sir, DD Sir, DD Exam Sanjay Subhash Sir, DD Science Branch Gaikwad Sir, Dr. Indu Prakash Sir, kindly step on stage. We would love to have you kindly do the honors and give awards to the schools. So we begin our awards. The first school as Delhi Green School Award winner is RSBV West Vinod Nagar. I request the principal, teacher and students to come on stage.
आपकी तालियां बजनी चाहिए, बड़ी मेहनत के बाद अवार्ड मिलता है।
I request the principal, the Eco Club in charge and the students of RSBV West Vinod Nagar on stage. Let us give them a huge round of applause. Our next school is GSKV Buradi. We request the principal, teacher and students to kindly move towards the stage. GSKV Buradi. A moment that we have been waiting for has arrived. Our next school, GSKV Buradi. Green Award is an endeavor of science branch which aims to inculcate the habit of environment conservation among students and develop them as eco-warriors. So these are our eco-warriors. Our next school is SPM Co-ed CR Park, New Delhi. We request the head of school, the teacher and the students to quickly move on to the stage. SPM Co-ed School, CR Park. थोड़ा सा जोर से बजा दो. Thank you. These schools have really worked hard and they have been selected after a lot of inspections and visits, and so many rubrics were prepared. It's not easy to get this award. We now move on to our next school, BRD SKV Prasad Nagar. These students have been really active. We have seen their videos and photographs, and we have visited these schools. The government schools were visited by our mentor teachers, and our special thanks and gratitude to them for visiting these schools and giving us the report. Each and every school was visited, every initiative was checked and inspected, and then the report was prepared. The next school is GSKV B3 Paschim Vihar. Congratulations winners, GSKV B3 Paschim Vihar School. And after this we have Sarvodaya Co-ed Senior Secondary School, Munirka Village. Thank you so much schools for taking this initiative, for promoting the adoption of sustainable development goals. The school on stage is B3 Paschim Vihar. Let us give a huge round of applause. Our next school is Sarvodaya Co-ed Senior Secondary School, Munirka Village. This award aims at appreciating and highlighting the commendable efforts done by schools in making their schools green. Our next school is ASOSC Madanpur Khadar. Followed by GBSSS number 2 D Block Janakpuri. On stage right now we have SOSC Madanpur Khadar, followed by GBSSS number 2 D Block Janakpuri. A big smile on faces, a big round of applause. The school on stage now is GBSSS number 2, D Block, Janakpuri. The schools have been organizing workshops, seminars, rallies, and drives to spread awareness on environmental issues. And then we have GGSSS Sector 25 Rohini. Sector 25 Rohini, on stage please, with the HOS and the teacher. Our next category would be government aided schools.
गवर्नमेंट एडेड स्कूल की कैटेगरी में केरला एजुकेशन सोसाइटी विकासपुरी न्यू दिल्ली. बच्चों के साथ से निवेदन है कि थोड़ा जल्दी से स्टेज की तरफ आएं। केरला एजुकेशन सोसाइटी, विकासपुरी, न्यू दिल्ली। सेकंड, बलवंत राय मेहता स्कूल, लाजपत नगर, आगे आ जाएं। इन बच्चों ने न सिर्फ अपने स्कूल में नए इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं, बल्कि इको वॉरियर्स के तौर पे अपने स्कूल के पर्यावरण को बहुत ही ज़्यादा सुरक्षित बनाने की दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण बदलाव भी लाए हैं। SSLT गुजराती स्कूल, सिविल लाइंस। निवेदन है कि ये टीम भी आगे आ जाए। दिल्ली ग्रीन स्कूल अवार्ड्स की श्रृंखला में एडेड स्कूलों के साथ साथ प्राइवेट स्कूलों ने भी बढ़ चढ़ के भाग लिया और उनके यहाँ क्या प्रयोग हो रहे हैं वो भी हम सब तक एक टीम के माध्यम से जब हम गए तो बहुत सारे बदलावों के बारे में हमें पता लगा। एक बहुत अच्छा कोलैबोरेशन है। तो इस कड़ी में सबसे पहले बाल भारती पब्लिक स्कूल, पीतमपुरा। इसके बाद तैयार रहें बिरला विद्या निकेतन, पुष्प विहार, न्यू दिल्ली। आपकी तालियों में कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए। तीसरे नंबर पे एयरफोर्स बाल भारती स्कूल, लोधी रोड। बिरला विद्या निकेतन जी स्टेज पे आ जाए। इसके बाद एयरफोर्स बाल भारती तैयार रहें।
Let us give a huge round of applause to our winners, the schools who have taken initiatives for environment.
एयरफोर्स बाल भारती स्कूल, लोधी रोड। इसी क्रम में मॉडर्न स्कूल, बारखंबा रोड।
Heartiest congratulations to all the schools who are getting this award. A precious moment for all of them.
स्प्रिंगडेल्स स्कूल, पूसा रोड। जोरदार तालियां बजती रहें। किसी भी विद्यालय के कार्य को अगर प्रोत्साहन मिलता है तो ये उसके लिए बेहद अमूल्य पल होता है। आप भी उस पल में साझीदार बन सकते हैं। मॉडर्न स्कूल, बारखंबा रोड।
With this award comes another responsibility that now you have to work for environment forever. You people are the inspiration for all the schools of Delhi. So the responsibility is even more. Modern School, Barakhamba Road, on stage, taking the Green Award.
स्प्रिंगडेल्स स्कूल, पूसा रोड।
The Springdale School had beautiful bird nests that we witnessed. We were able to see a lot of initiatives in different schools, like we had the e-waste management in Birla Vidya Niketan that we saw, rainwater harvesting in Tagore International, how they have actually increased their groundwater level. So every school had a different story to narrate, and we had a great opportunity visiting these schools. There were a lot of learnings from these schools.
Tagore International School, east of Kailash. After that, CSKM School, Satbadi. CSKM School, Satbadi. Please come fast.
After CSKM school, we have Navjeevan Model School, Vishnu Garden. Navjeevan Model School. On stage right now, we have CSKM School, Sadbari. Students.
After Navjeevan School, Cambridge Primary School, New Friends Colony. इस अवार्ड को आप तक पहुंचाने के लिए डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ एजुकेशन, हमारे वर्दी डायरेक्टर सर हिमांशु गुप्ता सर के मार्गदर्शन में एडिशनल डायरेक्टर मैम जरीन ताज मैम, डीडी संजय सुभाष सर, डीडी एग्जाम एंड डीडी साइंस ब्रांच सुधाकर गायकवाड़ सर, सभी लोगों ने इस अवार्ड को रूब्रिक्स बनाने में, इनको फाइनल करने में, इसको डिज़ाइन करने में और आप तक पहुंचाने में लंबा परिश्रम किया है। तो एक बार साइंस ब्रांच के लिए भी जोरदार तालियां बजा दें आप सभी।
So this was Cambridge Primary School from New Friends Colony. And we really, with this we come to the end of the Green Award distribution ceremony. We would like to thank our dignitaries for doing the honors. And now we would now like to request our DD exam, Sanjay Subhash sir, to kindly give the vote of thanks.
सभी को नमस्कार। काफ़ी देर से आप लोग सवालों को सुन रहे हैं और सवालों के उत्तर इतने अच्छे ढंग से सुनेंगे, तो जोरदार तालियों के साथ धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा वंदना मैम का कि उन्होंने इतने अच्छे ढंग से इन्वायरमेंट क्या है और हमारी रुचि कैसे होनी चाहिए, हमें कैसे अपने आप को बचाना है, इतनी अच्छे ढंग से जानकारी दी और ऐसा मोटिवेशन हमें प्रदान किया है कि हम जो यहाँ बैठे हैं एक तरह से इतने मोटिवेटेड हैं कि हम अपने आप को प्रकृति के साथ जुड़े रखने में आगे निश्चित रूप से आएंगे, ऐसा मैं सोचता हूँ। क्या बोलते हैं आप सब? बहुत अच्छी बात है, एक बार जोरदार ताली होनी चाहिए मैम के लिए। हमारे डायरेक्टर साहब ऐसे हैं, मोटिवेशन के रूप में तो समझिए कमाल के हैं। चाहे मॉर्निंग वॉक में उनकी साइकिल के साथ एक तस्वीर लगती हो या कहीं भी पहुंचना है, कैसे प्रोग्राम को मोटिवेट करना, बच्चों को क्या, टीचर को क्या, किसी भी को, तो सर से हमें इंस्पिरेशन मिलता है कि हम कैसे काम करना है। पेड़ के नीचे कैसे बैठ के पूरी दिन भर फाइलों के बीच एक एक व्यक्तियों के साथ मिलना, ये सोच सर की ओर, सर की मोटिवेशन और इच्छा शक्ति को दर्शाता है कि कैसे हमें काम करना है और कैसे सवालों को सुनना ही नहीं, सवालों के साथ उनके जवाबों को भी ढूंढना है। और ये कॉन्फिडेंट आप लोगों के साथ आपके चेहरे से दिखता है, तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। साथ में सर का नाम इंदु प्रकाश जी हैं, जो मैम ने कई बार नाम लिया है कि सर के साथ कनेक्ट होना है हमें, तो आवश्यकता है सर का नंबर और ईमेल आईडी हमें प्राप्त करने का, जो ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दोनों ले चुके हैं, तो हमें जुड़ने का है सर से। और इस मुहिम में जो मैम बहुत अच्छे से लेकर चल रही हैं, उस ओर हमें आगे बढ़ना है। तो थैंक यू सर, आपने वैल्यूएबल टाइम अपना दिया, धन्यवाद सर। उसके बाद गायकवाड़ जी हैं और एडिशनल मैम जरीन ताज बैठी हैं, जो इन सारे रिसोर्सों का जड़ हैं, जहाँ से हमें एक रिसोर्स मिलती है कि भाई कैसे काम करना है, किस ढंग से करना है। तो धन्यवाद मैम आपके कंसर्न और गाइडेंस का। उसके बाद हमारे डीडी साहब बैठे हैं, मीना जी, जो यहाँ के कार्यक्रमों को दिखा रहे हैं और यह वेन्यू आपको प्रदान किया है, तो सर का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जोरदार तालियों से सर का धन्यवाद दें। सुधाकर गायकवाड़, आप देख रहे हैं कि जितनी बार कुछ कुछ होता है दौड़ के यहाँ आते हैं, ये दिखता है कि जोश और जुनून क्या होता है कि किसी भी प्रोग्राम को कैसे करना है, तो ये सुधाकर जी हमें सिखाते हैं कि वो क्या है और कैसे करना। लीस्ट एंड नॉट लास्ट, दुबे जी जो इंस्पायरेशन है पूरी नई उड़ान की टीम का। पांडे जी जो बैठे हैं यहाँ पर, एक एक चीज़ों को देखते हैं, तो इनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जो पूरी उड़ान की टीम जो यहाँ पर इस मैगजीन को बनाती है, देखती ही नहीं, उस पे विषय पर चर्चा ही नहीं करती, और प्रकृति को और कैसे जुड़ना है ये हमें सिखाती भी है। तो इन सभी टीम के मेंबरों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और यहाँ के स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल मैम और वाइस प्रिंसिपल और जितने लोग इस कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हैं, उन सबों का मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा। और सबसे लास्ट में आप लोगों का, जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनके लिए ये कार्यक्रम है, क्यों कार्यक्रम रखा गया, उसकी सोच आप लोग से बनती है। तो आशा ही नहीं आप ऐसे कार्यक्रम में जुड़े ही नहीं रहेंगे, प्रकृति के साथ निश्चित रूप से जुड़ेंगे। इसी उम्मीद और आकांक्षा के साथ आप सबों का तहे दिल से धन्यवाद। पांडे जी कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
सिर्फ सारी पूरी साइंस टीम जो इसमें लगे हुए हैं, मैं चाहूँगा कि वो स्टेज पर आएँ और मैडम के साथ और सर के साथ एक फोटोग्राफ हो जाए, उसके बाद इसको क्लोज करें पूरे।
मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी पुंडरीकाक्ष सर से कि वो स्टेज पर आएं।
सभी से अनुरोध है कि वो राष्ट्रगान के लिए अपने सीट पर खड़े हो जाएं। सभी से अनुरोध है कि राष्ट्रगान के लिए अपने सीट पर खड़े हो जाएं।
भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा, उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंग। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय